Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome, everyone. You're tuning in to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. Good morning and happy Tuesday. It's a little dreary out today, which is never fun, but you know what? We'll get through it. We're happy you're here. Boys, good morning. We have to get into some Tigers baseball. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but, you know, we want to make sure that we really give this team their roses. You know, they were sub 500, but they turned it around at the end of the season. So, you guys, I want to know, like, what were your main takeaways from this season? What were your favorite part of the season? Obviously, we saw Miggy hit his 500th home run, which was amazing. But, Jeff, let's start with you. What was this Tiger season like for you?
Well, more importantly, the second half of the season was the most impressive. Since about May to now, the Tigers have been playing very good baseball. And it's the first time in 6 years that the Tigers actually won their final regular season game. So there's positives coming out of the season. Hinch's mantra of preparing to win every game didn't stop the other night. On their last game of the season, they still prepared the same way, and they came out and get a W. And it just goes to show you. I know Woodward Sports posted a poll, who's the MVP, had some players. It's AJ Hinch. The things he's been able to do to really put the Tigers in position to not only attack free agency, but to just take the next step. I mean, his dedication to preparation, taking the wealth of data available and serving it to players in useful, amounts every series, every game. It's made an impact on pitchers. It's made an impact on hitters. You've gotten good play out of Casey Mize, Akil Baddoo. When a team's expected to lose 100 games, flirts with 500, fans are thrilled. But when a team expected to make the playoffs flirts with 500, fans are sharpening the pitchforks. So in this case, we're on the other spectrum of it. We weren't expected to win. We overachieved. And you know what? It's a great thing to see, especially where they are right now. I believe they're expected to have the 12th pick in the 2022 MLB draft, which is the lowest since 2017. So there's a ton of things that are turning the corner for this franchise. And it really depends what Al does in free agency, AJ, and because even if then, nothing's guaranteed in baseball. I mean, you could have we can overachieve this year and completely have a horrid year next year. You want to just continue to build off of it and hopefully get on the right track. But what I think so far is this season, man, it's just been awesome to watch. It really has. In person, too, watching Miggy hit 500 in Toronto, just the landmarks you can talk about, but more importantly, just their fight and not giving up to finish 77-85, man. It's impressive.
The team and player development is unbelievable. Going into the year, you thought this team would lose 100 games plus easily. AJ Hinch walks in, and they win 75 games. And for the second half of the season, they were like, if you just look at the second half of the year, they're AL Central contenders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Not just the team growth overall, but the players individually. We saw Akil Baddoo come out hot, struggle, and then he was consistent for the remainder of the year. You look at players like Robbie Grossman. You have young, talented pitchers, Skubal, Mize.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many things to look forward to if you're a Detroit Tigers fan. And this is what I mean about, in baseball we call him the manager. In football you have the head coach. This is what I mean by team and player development. In a year where you're not expecting so much in the win-loss column, do we see enough progress not only as a team, but we see progress on an individual basis from our coaching staff and our individual players? And the Tigers checked all of those boxes this year. And I have to say, it was amazing and so fun to watch. It really was. You look forward to next season. Torkelson hit 30 dingers in the minors. 30. That's promising. Riley Green lit it up as well. Looked very good during his time in the minors. Guys, there's so much to look forward to. Now, Jeff, you kind of already hinted at it. Getting ready for the offseason.
Yep.
Well, what are the Tigers going to do? Are they going to go out and try to make a big money signing? Are they going to commit a 10, 12-year contract to Carlos Correa? I'm not sure what they're going to do. I know their intentions are to spend big money this offseason, and we've seen them fumble that. But I'm so confident in their decision-making now that A.J. Hinch is the manager.
Right.
I think he's the best manager this team has had since Jim Leland's left.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite honest, if they would have won, if you would have reversed their record, right, and you put them at 87-75, I think he's the manager of the year.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to be in the conversation. He won't win it. They're not playoff contenders. He won't win it. But still, I think next year, though, they're in prime position to at least have a winning record, maybe compete for a pennant in the AL Central. Maybe. That's with like a lot of things going right. But guys, look at the season as a whole. The pitching is what really, really got this team into like second gear. When is the last time you've ever said relief pitching and the Detroit Tigers in the same sentence and had anything positive to say about it? The relief pitching was really good this year. You have something in Tarek Skubal. You have something in Casey Mize. Tyler Alexander. You have nice pieces. Even, I can't believe it, Eric Haas looks like a real serviceable catcher that you can actually rely on and play. There's so many positives for the Detroit Tigers. It's a great day to be a Tigers fan. You're going to go into the offseason optimistic. Now, again, whether or not they go for Correa, they go for a Bellinger, maybe they go for a multitude of players and they don't spend it all on one player. Maybe they go for a few pieces. I don't mind. I'm not looking for one signing and that's it. That's going to change our fortunes. That's not how it's going to work. You need to call up Riley Green. You need to call up Spencer Torkelson. You got to fit these guys in your lineup. Who are you going to sign? Is it going to be Correa? You do need a shortstop. Zach Short didn't look good at all. I think he was batting 141 for the year. That's not ideal. He needs another year or two in the minors. We'll have to wait and see. But, again, this is really, really good. On a season, again, where I think most thought it would just be awful, it was a joy to watch. The team was full of energy. They got a ton of wins. And you know what? Drafting 12th, I don't mind it. I don't mind it because the manager, I am confident, will get the most out of the players he's given.
Let me ask you a question. This offseason, in your mind, what does Al Avila have to do in A.J. Hinch to really say, you sit back and say, wow, it was a successful offseason? Like, what is the move they have to do, you think?
Okay, individually or together? Or,
together.
Well, look, again, let's play hypothetical. Let's say they go out and sign Carlos Correa.
Okay.
Does that guarantee the Tigers anything? Absolutely not. It doesn't add another significant bat to the lineup. You expect Torkelson to come in and be a 20, 24 home run a year rookie. Riley Green, 16 to 20 home runs. You have to wait and see. We don't know. We can't predict the future, but you can get a good idea.
Right.
Those are the numbers you're adding to your lineup, ideally, right? So now you move on. Okay, well, pitching looked good. We're missing an ace, but we expect Mize to take a step next year. We expect Skubal to take the next step next year. Even Tyler Alexander. We expect so many people to take the next step. So for A.J. Hinch, I don't have many scenarios in my head where they have an offseason that I consider a failure.
Okay.
Now, what I would consider a failure is one, doing nothing, and two, spending money just on one player that maybe you weren't totally bought into. If you don't think Correa is the answer, please don't sign him. Please. Go sign 2 guys for the same amount of money, 3 guys maybe, and build your lineup. One player, I promise you, this offseason isn't going to make this team pennant chasers. They're not. They're going to be pennant chasers next year because of their manager and because they play fundamental baseball and their pitching is actually pretty good. Isn't that weird to say?
Yeah.
Honestly. Who would have thought? Years ago, it was the hitting.
Right.
It was the lineup. You couldn't get to 6. If you were a pitcher, you would be so happy to get to the number 7 on the Detroit Tigers lineup. And then you get those 3 people out and it's back to 1 through 6 and you're like, God, this is going to be a tough day at the
long
office.
Day.
So, no, it's really good. I think, where does Candelario go? I'm not sure where Candelario goes. I'm not. It's really difficult. Again, like, what do you do with Boyd? What do you do with Cabrera? Once he gets 3,000, I made my intentions, what I want, very clear. He can't take another at bat once he gets his milestones. I'm sorry.
You did say that. You are consistent with that.
And it's nothing personal against Miggy. Yeah. But I have bats. I need to figure it out. But you know what? I can also sit up here today and say Miggy was second on the team in RBIs. He still has value. Mm-hmm. So maybe I do need to revisit that and reconsider it. But the good thing Detroit has is they have options. And they're not tied to any one thing. They've got options. They've got players coming back. They got players they got to call up, players that can sign in free agency. So many options for the Tigers this offseason. I'm excited for it.
We'll be talking a lot of baseball, especially next year. It's going to be real interesting.
I really think they have a chance at the AL Central, honestly.
Yeah. You're not alone.
I really do. And more than just, we're going to win next year. It's really not that kind of mindset. It's AJ Hinch took a team, I promise you, with any other manager wins 50 to 60 games a max. And they won 75. They were one of the best teams post All-Star break in baseball. That's not easy to do.
That's what you want.
Usually it's the teams that are bad. They start off hot and then they just suck for the rest of the year. This team took the complete opposite path. They sucked early on, and my goodness, did they really pick it up. So AJ Hinch, I'm in full throttle with AJ Hinch. I'm all on board. I support him. I'm so happy he did get another opportunity. Obviously, whether or not you want to blame him for what happened, I'll let everyone have their own opinion and feelings on that. But at the end of the day, he wasn't solely responsible. And the fact that he got another opportunity and he made the most of it so far, I'm happy for him. Good for AJ Hinch. I think an early Manager of the Year contender next year, for sure. If I was placing a bet next year, I would lock in AJ Hinch for the Manager of the Year award. 100%.
Especially the turnaround.
100%.
Deserves it.
Kennedy?
All right, well, I like it. A lot of this season for me was kind of just enjoying what I have left of Miggy, right? Because he played a lot this season, but next season he will most likely be playing significantly less. Like Adam said, let him hit these milestones, and then he'll kind of most likely fade out. And I think Miggy even said he wants to retire like a month or so ago. So, you know what? Let him. I love him. I've been watching him since I was a little girl, so I will always be a Miggy fan. All right, coming up next, we're going to have Kory, our Lions WSN reporter.
Beat reporter.
Yep. Thank you for the full title. He will be here next, but before we get to talk Lions with him, I want to tell you guys where you can watch the Lions versus the Vikings game this weekend. So join Woodward Sports for the pregame at O'Toole's. That means it's an away game. Every away game we are at O'Toole's. So come pregame with us and Jose Cuervo. Ryan Armani will be there. Maz will be there. Jade from Riff and I will be there to host the pregame live on Woodward Sports and on 101.1 The Riff. So you guys make sure you come out from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at O'Toole's this Sunday to help us pregame for the Vikings game. All right, now that I have done that and you guys know that Kory's up next, Jeff needs to tell us about our friends at Northwestern Tech.
Yeah, listen, do you know a guy or your friend specifically who's sitting at home, doesn't have a job? Well, tell him to visit northwesterntech.edu because they're hiring guys straight out of Northwestern Tech for $70,000 around that number. So it's great. It's a great opportunity. You can start a new career in an industry that is literally always essential, the heating and cooling industry. You learn more today by visiting that website right there, northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning in to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Happy Tuesday. Adam, I cannot see that far. But anyway,
you're blind.
What?
You're blind.
I know.
You should wear glasses.
I do, but not.
Well, why aren't you wearing them?
Because the light reflects and it's horrible.
Get like those glasses that like prevent glare, whatever it is. Those
I have the transparent.
You know what I'm talking about? The ones on the commercials.
The blue light ones.
I don't know. They change based on how much sunlight is coming into.
Listen,
your
Oh my gosh,
I'm supposed to
not
wear.
getting transitions or whatever they're
Why?
called.
Don't.
Because they look like
I have 'em.
sunglasses
I'm supposed
inside
to look at me
right
right now. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses. Have you ever seen me with glasses?
You're all blind. What did you guys do as kids? Did you ever go outside, or you just stare at the TV all day?
Well,
Probably a little bit.
Might have
both.
stared at the TV a little bit.
I don't know. We'll
You guys
have
are
to
horrible.
take that up with Mike and Dad.
You guys are horrible.
All right, so you guys, we've got to get into some Lions. Adam, what do you want to talk about?
Before Kory gets in, I do want to talk about Penei Sewell.
Right.
I think it's worth a conversation to have now. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, guys, I sat up here and I said, it's a fireable offense to even consider moving Penei Sewell to right tackle. And I really meant that. Yeah. And I think at the time, you could not argue with me.
No.
And now, let's fast forward 2 weeks. I could make the argument that maybe you have to move him back to right tackle. Although I disagree with it, and it's not something I would do, I think the Lions are going to make that decision. I think they're going to move Penei back to right tackle. You look at Sunday, he gave up 7 quarterback pressures, 2 sacks, and to put that into context, guys, Taylor Decker gave up 2 sacks all of last season. And again, this is a rookie. You expect these things from a rookie. You expect him to make mistakes. And to be honest, I prefer my rookie left tackle to make mistakes playing his natural position than to look awful at the right side like he did in preseason. I don't know what to expect from Penei Sewell at the right side. All I've seen is bad. And based on what I've seen, I'd prefer him at the left. So in 4 total games, I've had 2 really good games and 1 meh game and 1 really bad game. So they kind of average out. So he's fallen out of the top 50 left tackles according to PFF rankings. I mean, again, it's 4 games in, nothing to overreact on. But I'm more confident now than ever that the Lions are going to stick to their guns, and they're gonna put back Taylor Decker at left tackle. And I disagree with it. I genuinely do. But I can't sit up here honestly and be honest with all of you and not say, well, I can't have the conversation. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't willing to have the conversation. After these last 2 games, I have to be honest and sit up here and say, okay, although I disagree, I think they're going to do it. And I don't think there's much I can say to that. You're going to put Taylor Decker, that'll shore up the left side for the season. But again, that doesn't make sense to me. And somebody please explain to me, because it doesn't make sense. You're not playing for anything. You're not playing to win football games this year. You're playing to develop and grow. Now, you want to make the argument that you drafted Penei Sewell to move him to right tackle, grow him there, and then after 3-4 years, bring him back to the left. Please tell me when that has ever worked out in the NFL where anybody has done that with a generational type tackle and he actually turned out to be an all-pro. When? It hasn't happened, guys. And that's what I just don't get. You want to move Taylor Decker and your team will get like 5-6% better. That's great. Cool. Decker's at left, you move Penei to right, you become 4-5-6% better. Great. Does that matter this year? And what happens when you're actually good in 3 years? Because you'll be average next year. You'll be a competent football team. But year 3 is where we expect you to compete for the division. Oh, that's the final year of Taylor Decker's contract. You're going to re-up him and keep Penei Sewell at right tackle? Is Penei Sewell even going to be in the league by then? You don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. Again, 2 weeks ago, we could not have this conversation. It was, in my opinion, a fireable offense to move Penei back to right. 2 weeks later, after that, again, I have to sit up here and be honest. I think you can have the conversation. I'm going to stick to my side and say I still believe Penei Sewell's ceiling can be reached by only getting reps at the left tackle position. He's raw. He's 20. Adam, he's 20. He's young. Put him to the right and in 2 years bring him back. I don't agree with that. I have never seen that work. And who are the Detroit Lions to try and make the anomalies work? When has that ever worked for them? Why should I back this? I'm really not sure. So Decker going back to left tackle gives the Lions the best opportunity, let's say, to win now. But how's Penei going to play at right tackle? Watch Rashawn Slater last night if you really needed a right tackle, Detroit. And then I was killed because during a mock draft, I took Rashawn Slater over Penei Sewell. Excuse me. It's fine. I'll let these go. But ask yourself this before I give the floor to you, Jeff. Ask yourself at home this. When has it ever worked where you took, again, a guy you expect to be an all-pro left tackle, you moved him to the right for the first 2, 3, 4 seasons because you already had a left tackle, and then you plan on transitioning him back to left tackle after 3 to 4 years of adjusting and becoming more comfortable on the right side? I don't like it. I don't like it.
Anytime you see a statistic that says Penei Sewell's grade, especially last week, is the worst of Taylor Decker's career, it raises some eyebrows, especially because, listen, we can't overreact on Penei Sewell. The man can't even buy a beer yet at a bar. He's 20 years old. So the fact that we're going to critique him on this stuff, he's just starting to get used to the NFL. Obviously, if he plays the right tackle position, me and Adam went back and we agreed just, a week or two ago when we had this conversation that it wasn't really a conversation because he was playing so well at left tackle, but now he struggled, which we expected. He's obviously a rookie. He's the youngest player in that draft. So now looking at it, what is it? About to be week 4, week 5. Now you kind of want to have that conversation. This offensive line, Frank Ragnow gets injured. Matt Nelson doesn't seem like he can go a game without committing at least 3 penalties. You kind of need Decker in that offensive line, whether you want to trade him or not. If someone wants to offer you something for Decker, that's another conversation. We don't know if he's even on the market, anyone's even offered anything. But if you have Taylor Decker, you start him at left tackle, at least now, because I just don't see him going to right. It's hard to convince the man, especially your middle of the season. He's year, 7 into his career. But you pretty much trade him at this point.
But Jeff, so here's where I'm at. I already told you I don't want to move Penei. And they're going to move him, and I don't agree with that.
Right.
But they're going to move him. Okay, whatever. Why is it so important? You already have enough dead cap space. Why can't you just make the decision? Cincinnati needs a left tackle. Indianapolis, I could make the argument, needs a left tackle. There are teams out there that...
someone would get Taylor. Someone would want Taylor Decker.
He has value. Whether or not he garners a 1, I'm not sure. I'm not having those phone calls with GMs right now. But if I'm getting a few seconds, or a second and a third and a fifth next year, whatever it may be, I am considering it. Guys, you're already... Be honest here. Be honest with yourselves and ask yourselves this. How is Taylor Decker playing in the position of your number 7 overall pick benefiting your football team? Long-term and short-term. Short-term, you're not winning any football games this year. Next year, you're maybe a 5, 6, 7, 8 win team. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. And then in year 3, when you're expected to take the leap, you are running into the last year of your contract with Taylor Decker, so you're just going to draft again? I don't get it. You've already, and again, I'm not holding this regime accountable for this pick, but let's be honest, Detroit. Jeff Okudah is already a bust. He already is. There's no conversation to be had here. You cannot argue with me. Trayvon Diggs went, 48 picks later, and is already on pace to be an all-pro secondary player. And Jeff Okudah hasn't seen the field more than 10 games. Huh. You already busted there. Do you really want to take the chance on busting on Penei Sewell? And let's say Penei Sewell is a bust. I would rather him be a bust playing his natural position than him moving to the right and flaking out years later. I don't understand it. I
will say this, though. He's going to move to right tackle. We know this at this point. If he plays the entirety of the season at right tackle, he continues to struggle, give up sacks. It's going to be on Hank Fraley and Dan Campbell, whether they like it or not, because they made this decision. He struggled preseason. We knew of his struggles at right tackle. Yes, it's for the better. You want to put him there while Decker can actually play. He plays at left tackle. That way you get all the offensive linemen playing together. But at the same time, if he continues to struggle, they're going to have to take the hit a little bit. It's going to be on Hank Fraley and Dan Campbell, because they were sure when they drafted Penei Sewell, he can play right tackle. He's able to, at least, because the Rashawn Slater pick would have made more sense if you need a guy who could play multiple positions. We drafted a left tackle to essentially play right his entirety of his rookie year, for the most part.
Again, look, Detroit, if you want to sit up here and say, Adam, sorry, you're wrong, Taylor Decker should be on, be my guest. But it doesn't translate short-term or long-term to the team's overall development and success. Wouldn't you prefer the number 7 overall pick, who is a left tackle, who we can all agree is very raw? Green is going to make a ton of mistakes. He could give up 6 sacks this year. I could care less. You know why? I expect him to grow. By 22 years old, I think he should be a top 5 left tackle in the league. And that's not me saying much. By year 3, I think he could be a top left tackle in the league.
Yeah.
So what are you doing moving him to right? It bothers me that we want to clamor to Taylor Decker because he's on a team-friendly deal. Kennedy, there's a YouTube chat. You know, yeah, thank you. Sorry, Kennedy. But back to my point. Can we agree they're 8-9 players away on defense? Can we agree they're a quarterback and a few wide receivers away? If we agree to that, that's anywhere from 9 to 11 players that they need. Trade Taylor Decker, get draft capital. I trust Brad Holmes with drafting players. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is everything you tell me he is, and he finally had his first actual good game, and then you have your Derek Barnes, who I believe is hurt right now, which is why he isn't getting many snaps, I'd imagine. I hope so, because if he is healthy and not getting snaps, I'd be concerned. But the point is, you'll trust Brad Holmes to make the right decisions. That's why he's your GM. And if that's the case, you move on. Move on from Taylor Decker. I'll take the cap hit. Guys, we're not winning anything for the next 2 years. You're not going to turn into division contenders next year. Let's accept that. The roster is really void of talent. The secondary needs help. The edge rush doesn't exist. The NFL doesn't work like this. You want to move your number 7 overall pick to right tackle, I believe you're making a big mistake. I really do. And I'd rather him fail at the left tackle position than him fail by moving to right. Is that so much to ask for? If you really wanted a right tackle, Detroit, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Sheila, if you really wanted a right tackle, why didn't you just trade back and grab Rashawn Slater? Teams were dying to trade up to grab a Justin Fields. The Bears traded up. I'm sure Denver would have wanted to secure maybe Penei Sewell. Maybe they trade up. You don't know what team was willing to trade up. The Jets may have traded up. Again, I don't want to play what ifs, but my goodness, if you really wanted this kid to be right tackle, that's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. We got to go to break. When we come back, my goodness, Kory Woods, Detroit Lions beat reporter, joins the show next. But Kennedy, what do I got to do before we go?
Before we go, you need to tell us about our friends over at MyBookie.
Say my what?
MyBookie.
Bookie. I could have sworn you didn't finish your sentence. I don't know why. All right. Anyways,
Okay.
Guys, it's football season. You know I'm all about betting. I have a ticket to share with you later today that really broke my heart. It was a 13-leg parlay over Sunday. And to be honest, I didn't realize it until last night. We'll share later in the show, but let's just say we would have made some huge money if Matthew Stafford and the Rams would have taken care of business. But regardless, you can bet on the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears. I don't care who you bet on them using MyBookie. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Sign up today using code Woodward, and they'll match your first deposit up to 50%. And again, if you have a gambling problem, please call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, I'm going to throw it to the guys at the desk because they're going to talk with Kory about the Sunday's game against the Bears. So we'll throw it back to the desk. I'll do a little magic trick and become Kory.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Kennedy. Introducing the Lions beat reporter for the Woodward Sports Network, Kory Woods. But I got to say, apparently Detroit takes care of their media people. Because from what I'm hearing...
Do we really want to start it off with this story? Because I don't mind. All right.
I don't know the story. I got to hear
today's Tuesday. This is a Tuesday venting session.
Oh, Tuesday venting session. Let's get it.
I didn't hear it.
All right, so we can talk a lot about what the Detroit Lions do wrong, but let's talk about something positive real quick. So I don't know whether it's customary with most teams, but I'm seeing that it is. Before the games, they feed the media. I'm used to that because I used to intern for Detroit Pistons. I think they have the best pregame dinner meal, whatever. Anyway, so the Lions, before each game, about 2-3 hours before the game, they feed the media catered meal. They switch it up every week, but it's catered.
Yeah.
Nice desserts, meal, drink, whatever. Halftime, Coney bar, nacho bar, nice. But I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to Lambeau Field. They're going to do it nice. Lambeau Field, box lunch.
Oh.
A sandwich, a cookie, and an apple.
Ooh.
Halftime, I will say this, the halftime brats were pretty damn good. I'll give them that.
Okay.
Then go to Soldier Field on Sunday. That pregame meal went even worse.
Oh.
What do you think it was?
But what's worse than a sandwich, a cookie? Ah, man.
Pregame meal, donuts and water.
Are you no, the donuts and water?
Donuts
cider
and water.
Donuts, cider mill donuts?
No, not cider mill donuts. Like look like they went to
Like
Kroger.
Tim Hortons?
No, like look like Kroger.
They couldn't even give you like orange juice or milk or something, like water.
They had donuts and water. Then at halftime they had hot dogs and chicken sandwiches.
Dang.
So I'll give the Lions credit for that. Yeah, the pregame meals are definitely better in home, and
right.
Just the press box experience is better in Detroit. So I'll give Ford Field the credit for that.
Man, we gotta.
I know we gotta get some more.
All right, Kory, we got to talk about the game though, man. All right, we just got done talking about Penei Sewell. I don't believe it's the right decision, short or long term, to move him to right tackle. I know the team will do it. I have no doubts they will move him to right tackle, which I totally disagree with. But he did have a rough game against Chicago. Again, rookie left tackle, I'm not too concerned with him having bad games. But, Kory, really a simple question here before we go into the details of the game. Do you prefer Penei Sewell to make mistakes in his natural position or at the right tackle position and grow?
Well, I'm of the mindset of, first off, he's a rookie, and even pros – he's a rookie, and even pros have bad games. So I mean, I'm not going to really beat him up over how his performance versus the Bears. I will say this though, for the fan base that did want Justin Fields, that was the wrong game to have his work showing. So, but I personally, I think that Taylor Decker's been in the league. He's already been a professional. You already know the ins and outs while Penei Sewell is still learning it. Take your butt over to right tackle and let Penei go ahead and grow in this position, because he is going to be, from everybody you talk to, if you don't listen to me, at least listen to TJ Lang, who's a former Super Bowl champion and Pro Bowler. He said the guy's going to be generational at that position, and we've seen flashes of it. So I'm like, right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair enough. All right, Kory, Lions lost 24-14 to Chicago. Justin Fields, rookie quarterback, first win. Fun fact about Ohio State quarterbacks, they don't only have a horrible record in the NFL, it's beyond losing. It's sub 40%. But I got to say, do you guys want to know the quarterbacks taken in the first or second round from Ohio State that have succeeded in the NFL or have been drafted? There's only 2 of them that have ever been drafted in the first or second round. So I'm not sure where this narrative comes from. Dwayne Haskins was the first Ohio State quarterback ever taken in the first round. And then you have to go back all the way to the 80s where a quarterback was taken in the second round, and he was actually not awful.
Right.
Like, where's this narrative come from? But I don't want to focus on Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I read it this morning. I was like, that is odd. Like, they're all 5th and 6th round picks, and they're apparently Ohio State University is not the quarterback university. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Kory, they lost. Dan Campbell, in my opinion, not making aggressive decisions. I think they're stupid. Could you elaborate, one, not only on his comments post-game, but overall his decisions throughout the game not to take points when you've seen around the league successful coaches don't throw away points? You saw Urban Meyer get bit in the ass for not taking the 3 points at halftime against Cincinnati. We saw Bruce Arians with Tom freaking Brady as his quarterback. Tom Brady. And those weapons take the 3 points at the goal line. What's going on here? I don't think he's being aggressive. I think he's being naive and stupid.
Well, first off, I don't agree with the decision when he had the chance to kick field goals. I disagree with the decisions off this point. Is Ryan Santoso the greatest kicker in the world? I think it's not enough tape to say whether he's bad or good. I mean, I've looked at his stats, and he's been in the league a couple of years, but he hasn't had that many kicks. But to that, the kicks that he's missed, they were extra points. Not good, but going with that, off of his field goals, he hasn't had a field goal outside of 35 yards, and all those within that range, he made them. He's perfect on his field goals in his short career. If he's in range, I would go ahead and take the points. Yes, now you want to say like the Lions defense was reeling in that first half. Okay, fine. But still, at some point you're going to have to trust your defense to make a play. You're right there and you can walk away with 3 points. Go ahead and take the damn points. Why not?
I don't understand the decision, especially in the fourth quarter. Again, he's trying to be aggressive. It's Kory, I said this before the season started, man. It's so easy to be aggressive and go for it on fourth down when there's zero expectations. Hey, we're not trying to win football games right now. We're just going to keep going for it, go for it. All right, good. You're going to keep missing out, and you're going to look dumb. You don't have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. You don't have Josh Allen. You don't have Justin Herbert. You don't have Kyler Murray. You have Jared freaking Goff. And let's not even take into account his weapons that he has. Because it's predictable. They're either coming out of the backfield or it's your tight end who's probably getting doubled every single time. So why he doesn't take the 3 points and make it a one-score game is beyond me. Because it was so boneheaded.
Because here's the thing. You take that, and that, I know you're talking about that last possession, the last one. You take you need 2 scores. You're down 2 scores anyway. So 10 points puts you right at, a tie game.
Right.
All right. Why not go ahead and kick the field goal? Because you still need because even if you got the touchdown right there, you still need a field goal.
And you still need to stop Chicago. And the beauty of it is that you could have given up 1, 2, depending on how it happened, maybe even 3 first downs to Chicago, and you still would have gotten the ball back.
4 minutes left.
And again, I could make the argument it's more difficult to walk down the field that late and score a touchdown, but you can't score 10 points in one possession. So what are you doing?
And also, too, even though there were losses in late game situations against the 49ers and against the I want to say the Ravens, but still I think they played pretty well. The defense has made plays. They've shown progress. Why
the
not
offense
just
has
go
scored
ahead?
17, 17, and 14, yet we criticize the defense every week. It's
the
actually hilarious.
The defense is improving. The thing is, the offense needs to give the defense a chance. Because, granted, now, look, we've been beating Dan Campbell up over the head for this, and, rightfully so. But also, too, it's time to call out Anthony Lynn as a play caller. Some of these calls do not make sense. I mean, you're on, I think it was, 4th and short, and you just decide to put the ball in Goff's hand and you go empty backfield?
Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't understand it. I really don't. And again, people in the chat, for example, Dan Campbell is learning on the job. I didn't hire a head coach for $1 billion franchise to learn on the job and figure it out as he goes. Come on, man. You just why is it acceptable that he plays the conventional way, right? The week prior, and everybody's supporting it against Baltimore, when I think it's even more egregious what he did. By not going for it on 1st and 10, they were driving. Goff was 3 for 3 on that drive. But I'll let that slide. Then the next week, he doesn't go conventional. He goes, quote-unquote, aggressive. It backfires, and he's being aggressive. It's not being aggressive. It's not understanding the game. And Kory, tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't think he's playing. I don't think he's playing. He's strategizing in the situation as best as they could.
Yeah.
Kory, I really believe this, and nobody has proven me wrong on this one, and I really hope I'm wrong. But from watching the last 2 weeks, Dan Campbell and his coaching staff are not prepared for detailed late game situations. They're not. They're not. They didn't account for a scenario in Chicago where they were down 2 scores late, where they needed to either take a score or go for it on 4th down. They were not prepared for that. They were not prepared at home against Baltimore, being up with Baltimore having their timeouts, how to manage the 2 minute clock.
Yeah, because even then you go back. Really, if you really think about it, the Lions could have easily be 2-2. Easily 2-2. Whether you want that or not, I know everybody's on the tankathon, but whether you want that or not, here nor there, the Lions can easily be 2-2. But going back to, like you said, the Ravens game, in that situation when you take the field goal, you should have went for the first down. You go for the first down, you can milk the clock, then kick the field goal. Then they're done. They're really done.
They're done. They are done. You get the first down, and you're kicking for the game winner. They don't even get the ball back.
Right.
Here's the thing. I want to go back to this Bears game, and I understand that the Lions were down to go into the second half. I get it. They were down points.
Third time this year they've been shut out in a half. It's for the third straight game, actually.
But here's the problem with that I have. Jamal Williams was running close to 5 yards per game, 4.7 if you want to get right down to the number, 4.7 yards per carry.
Yep.
In those short yardage situations, how do you not use a guy that is about 225 pounds to go pick up a yard?
Doesn't go backwards, yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, not and the thing is, if you're having Goff drop back that many times, I mean, he's not a bad QB. He's a good QB, but Goff is not going to win games dropping back 40 times. It's not going to happen. You have to mix the run in there somewhere. And I believe that in those short, it became predictable. Second half, they only ran a total of 5 times. Goff ran one of those times for 6 yards.
I was just going to say.
This is the 6 yards, but Jamal Williams only gets the ball twice in the second half. DeAndre Swift didn't have the greatest game, but Jamal Williams only gets the ball 2 times in the second half.
Kory, I'll fall back on I don't believe they were prepared late game situationally because Jared Goff the whole game, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I watched the game back. Jared Goff was very inaccurate throwing to the sideline the whole game. He was making all his big plays on the dump-offs and through the seam to Khalif Raymond and T.J. Hawkinson.
And along with that, there were a few points, and I'll come back next time and just really look at it. But I remember there were a couple times in the second half where as soon as he snapped the ball, he stared down who he was throwing the ball to. Just stared down his receiver. It's become predictable. I don't know whether he's been. I don't want to say he's been lionized. I think
I'm tired of his post-game conference. Like I'm getting really tired of his message every game. Like shut up. Seriously, his stat line. If you go to the box score, you would think, wow, Jared Goff is doing very good in Detroit. If you actually watch the games, the guy makes zero impact on the freaking football game. He didn't make sideline throws all game. And then, of course, what do you call? You call an out route to the sideline on 4th and short. How responsible.
Underthrows, throwing it behind receivers. Anthony Lynn is going to have to step up the play calling, but also let's just call it what it is. Jared Goff is going to have to play better. He's just going to have. He just is. And I mean, they weren't able to hold on to the ball. I believe it was 3 fumbles. That first fumble, I don't think any of us have ever seen that in life. I think
better than the butt fumble.
Yeah, but butt fumble was at least it was weird, but it's like okay when you watch it, you can see how that happened. That fumble, I'm looking like I think that was even new for the Lions.
That's saying a lot, Kory. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Kory. Again, that's Kory Woods, Lions beat reporter. Follow on Twitter at Kory Woods. My goodness, asked a great question yesterday to Dan Campbell. I loved it. It's doing well on Twitter. Kory, thank you so much for joining us. When we get back from the break, we got to talk about our boy Jim Caldwell. Well, I should say, let me clarify. Your guys' boy, Jim Caldwell.
Do you see you on my team about this one?
We'll get to that after the break. Kennedy, what do we got to do?
I got to tell you guys about my friends at Legacy Partners Insurance. You guys, when you watch football games, you're often bombarded by insurance ads just promising to save you money. But if you really want to save money, you need my new friends over at Legacy Partners. They're independent, so they shop between 7 and 10 carriers to find your best insurance deal possible. Here's what I need you to do. You need to call 586-209-4106 and tell them that Kennedy sent you, not Maz, just for getting a quote and telling them that I sent you, Kennedy, me, I sent you. You will be in a drawing for a $50 gift card, so go or call legacypartnersins.com/Woodward today.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Happy Tuesday, you guys. We have to talk about one of my favorite, if not my favorite, no, for sure my favorite Lions coach in my young history that I can remember. Jim Caldwell. Like, what a guy. Stop.
I'm not going to let you continue like this.
Everyone in the locker room loved him.
No.
He was a wonderful human
Nobody likes a
being,
loser, Kennedy.
The most winningest coach in
Not
decades.
winningest of nothing. Winning of nothing. Nobody in the locker room likes a guy that's 4-23 against winning teams.
Okay, anyway, here we go. So, you guys, were the Lions wrong to fire Caldwell when they did? I think it was a little early, but Jeff, help me out here.
Well,
what do you think?
Let's get this straight. There was flaws in Jim Caldwell. I'm not going to sit here and say he should still be the head coach to this day, but the question is, did we fire him prematurely? And I think I would rather have Jim Caldwell the years we had Matt Patricia, in my opinion. Like at least you fired the man after 9-7 seasons, and then you got 6-10 out of Matt Patricia. You got 5-12. It's, in my opinion, I thought we saw more. I think the offense was 7th in points scored total the year he was fired. So, in my opinion, you saw the team digress the last 2-3 years after Jim Caldwell. Obviously Matt Patricia completely tanked the team's, statistics, the defensive guru that, a lot of people thought we had when we hired him. I never liked Matt Patricia the minute we hired him. Not that I loved Jim Caldwell, but I felt Jim Caldwell in that 2-year window, 3-year window was at least a better option than Matt Patricia. I mean, yes, I don't think the Lions regret it at this point because they're hoping Dan Campbell works out, of course. They're already moved on from the decision. But if you're asking me, did they fire him prematurely? I mean, 9-7, you fire him, and then Matt Patricia completely takes your team down the gutter. The obvious answer would be to at least give him the time you gave Matt Patricia, because that hire made absolutely no sense.
You know what? This Matt Patricia slander is so justified. It's actually unreal. But I've got to say, considering Matt Patricia took over the 32nd ranked defense in terms of yards allowed and boosted them up all the way to 10th his first year, is that not good? Granted, they finished 31st and 32nd the years following. Of course, it went to crap. But let's not forget, Jim Caldwell peaked year 1, 11-5. He had the number 2 defense in the NFL, and then after that, he had the number 29 defense, the 32nd, and the 30th ranked defense in that time. Unbelievable. And then you look at the run game. The run game. Jim Caldwell, your savior. 29th, 32nd, 30th, and 32nd. Hell of a coach. Record against winning teams, do I really have to bring this up? 4-23, 0 division titles, 0 playoff wins. Hit the locker room loved him, Adam. Last I checked, locker rooms don't like losing. They actually like winning meaningful games, not losing to the Vikings and the Packers and the Bears over and over and over and over and over again, and starting your second year 0-5, then finishing the regular season 7-2, so you finish with a 7-9 record, then you go 9-7 the following year, 9-7 the following year, all by Matthew Stafford carrying you with fourth quarter comebacks during that stretch. But no, it's all Jim Caldwell. He was amazing. Was it premature?
That's the.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
They peaked with Matt Patricia. They peaked with Jim Caldwell. They peaked with him. You weren't getting anything more than 9 wins. And I promise you, if they would have kept him, he would have won the same amount of games, if not, at the most 7 games with that Detroit Lions team. Matt Patricia, I'm not saying he was a better option, but the decision at the time was the right decision. The guy gave you nothing. And you were in a position coming off a 9-7 season where you expected, if you brought in qualified, better head coaching and a better coaching staff, that it would result in a better future for you. Well, it didn't. You actually got the decision wrong on who you brought in. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to sit here and defend Jim Caldwell. No, just because he's the best we've ever had. Shut up. No, he hasn't. No, he isn't actually. He has the best record in the Lions history. What does that mean? Wayne Fontes. All right, if you want to eliminate he stayed way too long. And he stayed for the years where the team was actually very, very bad. So let's not just look at, he has the best winning percentage in Lions history. It's not saying much. The Lions suck for 60 years. Saying you have the best winning record in Lions history isn't saying much. So, last I checked, it was Fonts who delivered playoff wins. Fonts who went to an NFC championship game. Fonts who won the division. So if you want to bring up best Lions coaches, it's Fonts.
But Caldwell's...
Wow. You accomplished nothing in 4 years. You took over a really good roster. Yeah. You peaked with them by throwing away the division your first year. You should have won the division. You lost. You threw that away. You lost in the playoffs that year. You show up the next year, start off 0-5, go 7-9. Then you bounce back with 9-7 years. Now I'm supposed to throw out the red carpet for you, Jim Caldwell.
Not at all.
God bless you. You are the second best coach in Lions history. Oh my goodness! Shut up!
Not at all.
Shut up!
You don't got to react like that. I mean, honestly, we can agree to this. He's definitely the second best coach in Lions history. But it's not saying much. It isn't. You're right. But 2 playoff appearances. We haven't won since 91. Haven't sniffed a playoff game in 4 years. And you give Matt Patricia 3 years, and you got nothing but atrociousness out of all 3 years. He peaked at 6-10. So in my argument, you keep Caldwell for the 2 to 3 years. Did anybody really believe Caldwell would be there?
Did anybody believe Caldwell would take them over to the next step?
You just finishing my sentences for me. Did anyone believe that he was going to take him to the promised land? No.
So why the hell is he your head coach?
Did anyone believe Matt Patricia would take you to the promised land? No.
But when they hired him,
I never thought that.
Okay, you never thought that.
No. Who did?
When the decision was made, stop trying to retract history as if it didn't happen. Let's call a spade a spade. When Matt Patricia was hired, the objective and the message was to take the Lions to the next step, correct? Was that the intention, yes or no?
That was
the intention. Was it a botched move? Absolutely. Yeah. No one can defend that.
Right.
But that was the intention. And they totally got it wrong. They completely got it wrong. And here they are now back in another freaking rebuild. But the point is, they didn't believe, and nor should they have believed, that Jim Caldwell was the guy to win them a division, win them the playoff game. And Bob Quinn's demise was hiring Matt freaking Patricia. It's that simple. The Lions, notorious bad decision after bad decision after bad decision.
Right.
How does this elevate or justify Jim Caldwell? It doesn't. This is like the Mark Jackson argument. How does Mark Jackson build the Golden State Warriors into a 50-win team, get into the second round, and then somehow Steve Kerr walks in and they become a 70-win team in 2 years and they're winning 3 championships.
Well, they were getting older and older every single year. They were getting progressively better. Yeah,
that was the step the Lions tried taking. They were 9-7. Hey, we think this guy or whoever it was before Matt Patricia, the next head coach is going to take us to 10, 11, 12 wins. We're going to win a division and win a playoff game. That was the intention. It didn't work out that way, but my friends, that was the intention. And if you actually believe Jim Caldwell would have stuck around a year and would have done anything, you're sadly mistaken. They would have won 6 or 7 games with Jim Caldwell that following year, and then he would have gotten fired that year. So I'm not sure what else I can tell you outside of he was never it. So get over it. Get over the Jim Caldwell thing.
It's not about, I think, would you agree to this? All right, and I get, listen, Jim Caldwell wasn't, the best head coach in Detroit Lions history. We can get that straight. But certainly, 4-23 against winning teams, you can say all that. That obviously shows that he might not have never taken the Detroit Lions to the promised land if you have those kinds of records against playoff teams. But at the end of the day, you have a guy who, and I don't like saying the players loved him and everything. Like, obviously, there was clock management issues. There was other things with Jim Caldwell. But more importantly, 9-7 to a team that, looking back on it,
don't you dare say it was an awful team.
No, it wasn't an awful team. I'm saying, yes, he underperformed. He probably should have went 11-5, whatever the case may be. But looking back on it, the mediocrity we've had since then to even fire Jim Caldwell and say that's the right decision. We have Dan Campbell now, of course. Hopefully,
hindsight, it was wrong to fire Jim Caldwell and what you got after. But in theory, firing him for what you were trying to accomplish was the correct move. There's a big difference, guys. There's a big difference between firing someone with the intention of getting better and firing someone with the intention of getting worse. They didn't fire Jim Caldwell thinking that they were going to get worse. Come on, be real with yourselves here. No.
But it's a tough ask, though.
Now, again, it's only 4 games into the season.
Yeah.
But Jim Caldwell lived 4 seasons with Matthew Stafford. He had 4 seasons with him. This is what I mean by, where was the head coach that you just look back at and be like, wow, the Detroit Lions had this guy as their head coach. It wasn't even Jim Caldwell, guys.
But he's one of the only guys you
that's
can't
not
even...
saying much because it's all garbage.
I know, but it says more about the franchise.
No, that's mediocrity. You're accepting mediocrity from the coach and the franchise.
But it's always been
unacceptable.
mediocrity. And Jim Caldwell's been the only thing besides Wayne Fonts that have brought anything.
What has he brought? He brought nothing.
You haven't won a playoff game, but 2 playoff appearances? We haven't won since 91?
So it's the playoff appearances we want
If
now.
you keep getting to the playoffs, you're bound to win.
Man,
I mean,
you sound
we can
like
at least...
stick right now. That is hilarious. No. You don't just get to the playoffs, get killed, and bounced out right away every single time. That's not progress.
So
progress
you'd rather have
6-10,
6-10,
progress
5
isn't
and
going
11.
11-5, 7-9, 9-7-9. That's not progress. The team was mediocre at best, and they had a franchise quarterback who could beat the bad teams, and they didn't have a team, a head coach, or a quarterback that could beat the good teams. That's just the facts. They never had a head coach that could help overcome any of that, and that's just the reality. We got to go to break, Kennedy.
I hate this conversation. I still love Jim Caldwell.
You guys can love him all you want. You can love mediocrity. Keep it up. You'll go another 6 years without winning anything.
11-5. I mean, second most wins in my history.
Wow, what an accomplishment!
Let us not forget.
What an accomplishment!
I'm just saying, let us not forget. All right, coming up
Let
next.
us not forget the nothing that happened.
He was
in 4
fired
years.
prematurely. That's my argument. I don't love him.
Agreed.
He
I
was
agree
fired
with Jeff.
prematurely. That's the fact.
Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about Michigan and Michigan State. So stick around for that, all you college football fans. But before we go, Jeff, will you tell us about our friends over at Papa Romano's?
All right, listen, you guys need to check out the large pizza. All right, from Papa Romano's. It's $60.99. You can order on the website or go into one of their lovely restaurants, and they have a pizza that's pleased to meet you. See what I did there? Pleased to meet you. Okay. Toppings, pepperoni. They got ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, bacon, topped with a nice blend of all their fresh cheeses. It's delicious. I'm Italian. I know it. I've had it. It's delicious. Joey brings it in. Lets us try it. Go over to Papa Romano's. Get yourself a pizza for $16.99.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network, featured on the Roar at 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. All right, you guys. We've got to get into Michigan season. We're going to talk about the entire outlook for them going into East Lansing to take on the Michigan State Spartans. You guys, what will it take for Michigan to walk into East Lansing undefeated? Do you think it's possible, Adam? Let's start with you.
Oh, do I think it's possible? Yeah. It's tricky now. They got Nebraska coming up. Mm-hmm. So let's just focus one game at a time. Let's not fast forward too much. You got to play a Nebraska team. Let's be real. They pose similar challenges that Wisconsin poses before their quarterback got hurt. It was a close game, and Wisconsin really looked like they were up for the fight. Nebraska, on the other hand, they have a mobile quarterback who's going to cause you problems. You're going to have 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 12s where secondary looks good, but the pocket breaks down. He escapes it, and he runs for it. Like, you're going to have to deal with a lot of adversity against Nebraska, similar to how State did. I don't think this is going to be a blowout walk through the park game for Michigan. I think Nebraska will pose very similar challenges that Wisconsin did. I think the run game is going to be vital for Michigan. They need to find a way to get it going against better opposition. And if they can do that, I really am going to start to really believe that this Michigan team is not only just a good team, but maybe a contending team in the Big Ten. Jeff?
Yeah, it's exactly. You saw them thus far. What do they got this week? They're going to Nebraska. They got next the following week Northwestern, which State, got a W, I think, in Northwestern at their stadium but early in the season. And then they got Michigan State. So the goal really for both these teams, especially for the fans who are watching on television, is both these teams to go undefeated. And realistically, I think State can do it. I think they can beat Rutgers in Indiana. And I think Michigan, they've looked the Cade conversation we can have, whether you agree will Cade be behind center when this team finishes the season or not. In my my opinion, if Jim Harbaugh, wants to open up this offense, you bring in a J.J. McCarthy, and his limited time, his limited snaps, he's put more on tape and more impressive things on tape, in my opinion, than Cade McNamara. I think he can do the similar things he can do, if not better, as a freshman. So he is a project, but at the same time, we have the Dabo Swinney argument. Dabo Swinney always played his freshman quarterbacks, and it seemed to work out for him. So, as much as I love Cade, what are they going to do against a tough Nebraska team? I think they come out, they get that win. They're 3-3. I think they're in Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. You saw what Michigan State was able to do. I think Michigan duplicates that, and going into the next, I think the real test, the 3 games I'm excited for this Michigan season. You got Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State. Circle those 3 games on your calendar because it's going to be great. You're gonna have a chance to evaluate Cade in these big games. This team in general in bigger games, and then if you go to Mel Tucker and the Spartans, they have Penn State November 27th. They have Ohio State as well. So those 3 matchups, man. You could say what you want about Indiana or the Rutgers, but I'm excited. October 30th, Devil's Night. These 2 teams are in for a bloodbath. And it's such a great, especially because of the narrative last year with Mel Tucker beating Jim Harbaugh during the COVID year, obviously, but still his first, appearance, being at Michigan State, going against Jim Harbaugh, he comes out with a W. Now this year has a chance to do it while both teams undefeated. I love it. And hopefully we see J.J. McCarthy earlier than sooner, because if he is in earlier, my God, I think he just gives his team a whole new look entirely offensively.
Look, you don't know what's going to happen the next 2 weeks.
No, you
not
don't.
just for Michigan and Michigan State, but across the nation. And let's just say State and Michigan both walk into East Lansing undefeated. Oof. I mean, you're looking at number 5 versus number 7, number 6 versus 8, number 7 versus 8, 7 versus 9. You don't know what's going to happen to the other teams. I mean, this is huge. But if you just look to the Big Ten this week, I believe it's number 4 Penn State versus number 5 Iowa, or 3 versus 4, one of the two. I mean, that is a huge matchup. And look, Michigan's got to focus one game at a time. I'd like to see more of J.J. McCarthy. I think Harbaugh is leaning towards that. You saw his gushy comment about him, seeing him out on the practice field after they came back. I'm really on this J.J. McCarthy train. I've been on it for 4 weeks now. I've been dying for it. They need to get him more involved in the game, and I think he offers something that Cade just can't give you. And Cade can, not lose you games, but he can also lose you games. He can't win you games. That is a big problem to have.
And it's hard because Cade, like we've said before, Cade hasn't done anything necessarily to lose the job. It's more so what he's not doing in some other areas. But if you look at, let's say, Jim Harbaugh hasn't really been playing J.J. McCarthy in these halves. If he comes out in a blowout against, either, you have this week, they go against Nebraska. Next week, they got Northwestern. If you're up big in either of these games, I'm playing J.J. McCarthy in the second half. That's what I'm doing. Get him more reps. Make Cade, if not,
you're going to see a lot of dual quarterback packages. I think even in the first, second quarter, we're going to see it. Jim's not naive. He knows what's going on. He got an extension, but it was a very incentive-based extension. He knows his job's on the line. He can move on from the team, and they can move on from him. He's lost 20 pounds. He's more energetic. The Mike McDonald hired, honestly, is a great move. The defense looks really good. Front seven, lethal. Secondary looks really good. And a big part of that is because of the defensive front being able to put pressure on the quarterback. So, again, Michigan are heading in the right direction. I think they are likely... they're likely to head into East Lansing undefeated. I expect Michigan State should be undefeated, but they've both got what you would consider trap games. And I think it's amazing for the Big Ten if these teams can walk in on Devil's Night undefeated. I said both teams would start 5-0. Here we are. It's really hard to say what happens going forward. Michigan's got to continue to play very well if they want to walk into East Lansing as a top team, and if they win that game and they are 8-0, I mean, what's the conversation we're having? I mean, I'm one of the few that defend Harbaugh, and my defense of him really isn't that, he's outperformed his expectations. No, he hasn't. He's failed to deliver against the rivals. He hasn't delivered a Big Ten. Of course, I can't argue that. But what I can argue is that you weren't anything better or even close to what he gave you the 6 years prior. So what are you complaining about, Michigan fans, exactly? that he took you to the next level in brand awareness, that you were ranked second and third in the nation going into the last game of the season twice, that you were ranked in the top 7 4 or 5 times, 3, 4, 5 times more than you were the 6, 7 years prior. What are you actually he didn't deliver on what he promised. Well, you know what? His bold promises, I think, can come true if he gets the quarterback right. He's that good of a head coach. You don't go to Stanford, you don't go to the NFL, you don't come back to Michigan and not be a good head coach. The guy can coach. Now, whether or not he can deliver this year against Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, we'll have to wait and see. I can't tell you anything until it happens.
Right.
But this is the year to really judge him. If he can win, if he wins on the road in East Lansing and they're undefeated, this is the year to say, hey, Jim, if you don't beat Penn State or Ohio State, man, you're the same old guy. We won 10 games. That's fine. Just get out of here. Then I can't really defend him. If he loses to State, oof, goodbye. That day, goodbye. So a lot of pressure on Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, especially the way you phrase it like that. You lose to State, goodbye.
That's the truth. You can't fall to 0-2
I know.
against Mel Tucker. That's embarrassing. It's unacceptable.
The phase they're in right now as a school, it's just, you can't do it. It's unforgivable. Unforgivable.
Kennedy, your thoughts on Michigan and Michigan State being way better than your shitty Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Why? Like, unnecessary.
Wait, real quick. Didn't Notre Dame pay
Cincinnati $1.2 million for that ass whooping? Yep.
Oh God.
Yep. Notre Dame paid $1.2 million to Cincinnati to ruin their season. It's amazing.
If Notre Dame reaches out to any school I'm a part of, and they're paying you 1.6, you say less. We're playing.
Say less.
I mean,
yeah. So sorry that they're generous, but no, I think State is absolutely killing it this year. I think State will beat Michigan. That's my prediction, and I hope it comes true. I hope the Sparties win at home.
Oh, we'd honestly, Adam, if the Spartans won on Devil's Night, we'd come in that Monday morning. It would be interesting. It would be very, or it would just be an interesting conversation to have about Jim Harbaugh. If he loses, you'd say fire him then. We talked to Brandon Brown about it. He works for Sports Illustrated, covers Michigan football, and he was a little like, oh, well, I do agree with you to an extent, but realistically, do you think they let the man go?
If I'm the AD,
yeah,
and I'm trying to send a message, I fire him the second day he loses to State.
But who do you bring in? That's the conversation.
It's not about who I bring in. I just send a message to all of college football.
Wow.
The Michigan football program head coaching position is vacant. Who wants it?
A lot of flockers coming.
A lot of people are going to consider it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now who you get, I don't know. But that's what I do. What they're going to do is if he loses, they're going to keep him. They're going to let him play out the year, and they're going to let him go. They're going to part ways at the end of the year. That's what's going to happen if he loses to State. That's it. Their season goes off the rails if he loses to State.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Essentially.
So we got to go to break, Kennedy.
All right. Yes, we do. When we come back, we're talking Monday Night Football. We'll recap that game for you, so stick around for that. But before we go, we know about defenses. Well, not really. But Jeff needs to tell us about Guardian Alarm.
Well, yeah, me and Adam talked about that Michigan defensive front. Well, what about Guardian Alarm guarding your house? They get it. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. A Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with constant 24/7 local monitoring. They have convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. Call this number 800 Stay Out today. That is 800 Stay Out. Guardian, you heard Fish, stay out. That's what Guardian Alarm is going to do. It's going to protect your home, and it's been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
Fish,
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, like I said, we've got to recap this Monday Night Football game from last night. So, Fish and I were wrong. We wanted the Raiders to win last night, but that's all right. The Chargers won 28-14 after a very weird weather delay. But, Jeff, give me your takeaways from last night.
Well, my God. There's only a couple guys in this league you can look at and say, I want to build my franchise around that guy. There's, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, maybe Kyler Murray, but that's it. Like, there's a very small number of these types of guys, and Justin Herbert played exceptionally well. You know, maybe towards the later in the game, you saw his production kind of go down a little bit, but the first drive scored, was perfect on his completions. He just looked great. Austin Eckler had a good game. They couldn't get Mike Williams going in the red zone. Listen, the Raiders are a good team. They are. I mean, Derek Carr, they've pretty much started a majority of their games this year down 14-0 and have been able to come back and win. So it's kudos to the heart of the team they have. But it's more importantly, it's Derek Carr. Last night, he just wasn't the Derek Carr we're used to seeing. 21 for 34, had an interception. He had a beautiful dime to Henry Ruggs. Just a beautiful, he dropped it right in the breadbasket. But other than that, he kind of struggled to really just get completions. This secondary for the Chargers is serious. Asante Samuel, they got dogs. Derwin James, Joey Bosa was having a field day yesterday. But we did pick the Chargers to win. I said 24-14. It was 28-14. The Chargers scored a little more. Credit to Brandon Staley, because this team, they looked like they were in some hot waters towards the end of the game. I think the Raiders scored back-to-back. They were up 14 to, I believe, 21, and the Chargers just go ahead and get a score. So, credit to Brandon Staley, what he's building over in Los Angeles. It looked like a Raiders home game, essentially. There was tons of Raiders fans at SoFi Stadium. Justin Herbert was dealing with boos. Same with Derek Carr. I've never seen it in my life, Adam, watching an NFL game. Both quarterbacks getting booed at the arena. Like, I didn't really feel like there was a home team in that area. It was weird. But nonetheless, credit to the Chargers for getting it done. Their defense locked down. They held Darren Waller to 4 for 50 yards, 4 catches, 50 yards. Josh Jacobs couldn't get going, and Derek Carr had a bad game. So say what you want about these Chargers, but they're legit. They're very legit.
All right, listen, Justin Herbert, it's not a conversation anymore. He's a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. He's elite. And the Miami front office right now are scrambling. The Detroit front office are scrambling because they were naive enough, one, to take a corner with the number 3 overall pick, the other to take a hurt quarterback going into the draft, number 5 overall, over Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, unbelievable. He can make all the throws. He's making adjustments at the line of scrimmage in year 2. He's significantly gotten better. He's got a young up-and-coming head coach. Wow, what do you know? That combination works, doesn't it? Isn't it crazy? It's like it doesn't happen in the NFL often. But what I love most about Justin Herbert and Brandon Staley right now is Brandon Staley is doing a much better job than Anthony Lynn did with Justin Herbert.
Both sides of the ball, too.
Both sides. Well, Brandon Staley comes with a defensive background, but still. Right. Like, I knew when they hired Brandon Staley, I knew this team would be a top 10 defense. I drafted them basically in every fantasy league I had. It was a guarantee. I knew it. And you look at the steps Herbert's taken, my goodness. Now, it does help, to be fair. It does help that Eckler's healthy. He's running wheel routes for touchdowns out of the backfield. It's very helpful. But my goodness, it's calling me crazy that the Chargers were a top 5 team 2 weeks ago. It doesn't look so crazy now, does it? Does it? I really like the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, to your point, I don't understand how they have home field advantage. They don't. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't quite get it. California in itself is just a weird state. Like, I don't know if they're rooting for you, against you. Like, right. If they just don't like either team, but they're just going to the game. I don't know. It blew my mind last night. And to be honest, I thought the Raiders looked really bad. They just couldn't get it going. They looked very similar to how the Rams did against Arizona. They just could never get it going. They would get a drive here, and then they would 3-0, turnover. It was just, they could never get anything going. Chargers defense did a great job. Credit to Darwin James, had a good night last night. Joey Bosa, hell of a night, forced a strip sack. I mean, it was amazing. It was an amazing game. I'm in love with the Chargers. I can't not love them. I think they're one of the best teams in football, and it wouldn't surprise me if you told me that they win the AFC West. Now they're only 1 game ahead of Kansas City, and they're also on the tiebreaker, but still a long season ahead of us. But enjoy it. Enjoy watching Justin Herbert. He's not going away. He looks great, and to be honest, it's a great thing to see. it's great to watch a rookie quarterback just walk in, elevate year 1, year 2, take that next step and not really regress. There's a big difference between a quarterback like a Justin Herbert and then you want to compare him to bums like, let's say, a Baker Mayfield, a Ryan Tannehill, even a Jared Goff now at this point in his career. Guys that aren't going to go out and win you football games, they can just kind of go with the flow. Kennedy, your thoughts on Hollywood Herb? I know you have a crush on him, don't you?
I literally hate when you do this to me.
I know.
I don't like blondes. He's blonde, is he not? He's blonde.
He's a good kind of blonde.
But
more brownish than blonde.
It's a dirty blonde. It's still not my cup of tea, but teach their own. But no, yeah, I adore him as a human and as a player. So I sent Justin, my favorite graphics man in the back. He has Justin Herbert as his fantasy QB because he wanted to try and have a team of like all Justins and all Sams because him and Fishy share a team. How is your team doing, by the way, Fish? How's your fantasy team looking? Took your first win this week, didn't you?
Yeah, 1-3. It's
okay.
Oh yeah, let's do a quick Woodward Sports.
No.
Woodward Sports.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
3-1, baby.
Jeff 3-1.
3-1.
Kennedy 3-1. Kennedy, you should be happy.
Dude, I'm 2-2.
Wait,
I
weren't you
lost
3-0?
to you and Maz. I lost to Miz.
Miz. Yeah, I mean that's your fault.
I'm so mad about it.
Well, you lost to me. That's fine. I'm 4-0. I'm the only undefeated team left in the league.
Until we verse.
I can't believe I lost
not
to
bragging.
Until we verse,
Not
Adam.
bragging.
Until I take you down.
Oh, okay. Good luck with that.
But I started the season off hot 2-0, and then these last.
Guys, I want you to know Kennedy took Nick Chubb number 4 overall or number 5. Which one was it?
4.
I think it was number 4 overall. Blew my mind. I was like ready to just quit the league that day, but
And
here
then-
we are 4 weeks later. We're just accepting it and we're moving on.
And then what was my next pick? I took Marvin Jones.
You didn't take Marvin Jones in the second round. You took him like
I did.
5th round, I think.
No, I took him either in the second or the third round.
Well, God help you. You're probably gonna
What pick
finish
did you
last.
have, Adam? I think I had like 9 at the end of the first or something like that. Where'd you fall
My
up?
pick?
Yeah.
I think I had picked number 10.
Oh, so you and you were at the very end.
Yeah, I picked number 10. And
I picked Devontae. That was my first pick.
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
You might have picked. Who would you just trade? Oh, you had Najee.
No. Oh, I did take Najee. That's
Yep.
right. In our league here, I'll read off my team just so people are aware.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kennedy, please read off yours because people deserve to know what you did with the number 4 overall pick. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable in my opinion.
Okay, this is the thing though. Adam was so upset about my fantasy team, but then we started winning, and I was like, I knew what I was doing out here, but yeah. Oh, my final score from our game just came up. 126 me and Adam 154. Whatever, it's fine. My team.
Give us the team.
I'm nervous. Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. Woo! Nick Chubb, Marvin Jones, Deebo Samuel, T.J. Hawkinson, Mecole Hardman,
Unbelievable.
Prater.
Just your starting lineup. That's your starting lineup?
Yeah.
And what's your defense? Rams?
Rams.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good pick, and then they really they went -5.
Well, that's your fault for starting them against the Cardinals. I took Najee in the first round, Tyreek Hill in the second round. Or no, I went Tyreek Hill, then Najee. And then I went CeeDee Lamb. And then I took Josh Allen, Devontae Smith, Gesicki, Chris Godwin. You know the drill. It's not bad. It's a good team. Jeff, your team.
I think I got Stafford, Eckler. I think I have Devontae Adams. Who do I have? Calvin Ridley as well. I'm proud of my wide receivers. All right, I got Calvin Ridley and Devontae Adams. If I can just stay relevant, those boys produce for me. And Eckler had a great game last night. So, you know what? I can't wait till me and Adam verse. We're going to have an interesting show that week. I'm going to be talking trash.
Oh, my goodness. We're
to
going to
him.
do a preview on Thursday for fantasy and Friday. The day I play Jeff, we're going at it.
It's getting
I can't
personal.
wait. Who do I play this week, actually? Now
What if we play this? Wait, hold on.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Who do I play this week? Who's this idiot?
Who's this idiot?
No, seriously. Who's the idiot I play this week? I play, is that easy?
What's his name?
No, that's D. Slay. That's Kennedy.
That's me.
It doesn't say anything yet.
Wait, tell everyone my fantasy
I'm not
name.
even saying. I'm not acknowledging. Oh, I play Art this week.
Oh, okay. You might be undefeated.
All right, so that's a
dub.
dub. So that's a W. Then I play Easy.
That's
then
my-
I don't play Jeff
Easy's
until
tough.
week 9.
Oh, we about to be. It's gonna be
we only
Michigan.
play each other
It's
once.
gonna be some Michigan State undefeated. I'll probably have 1 loss. It'll be tough. All right.
How do you find who you play this week? Oh wait.
Kennedy, be better.
Oh, I play Eunice.
All right, you'll get the easy dub.
Okay,
Let's get out of
yeah.
here.
All right, you guys, we
Easy
gotta go to
W's.
break. Easy, baby.
That's the universal signal. Easy W's.
Break. All right, let's hear about Lady Jane's, and then we'll leave you guys alone.
All right, listen, you guys see Adam's hair today. It's looking just mighty fine today. And you know why? You know why it's looking like that? Because he comes down to Lady Jane's. He sits in one of these comfy chairs, lays back, gets to watch some sports on the televisions they have, and before you know it, you're walking out with a clean, fresh haircut. They're open 7 days a week, 10 to 8. Lady Jane's, they'll make sure you're handsome and clean. Walk in anytime because they're wicked awesome.
Papa Romano's has a pizza that is pleased to meet you. The Pizza Pizza is a sizzling deal and fully loaded with pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Get a large Pizza Pizza for $16.99 at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, we're going to go ahead and look ahead to the next 4 Lions games. I mean, will it be fun? I don't know. We'll see. We're going away to the Vikings this week. Then we're at home against the Bengals. Then away to the Rams, RIP, and home with the Eagles on Halloween. I will be at that game, and I'm so excited. That's the one where I was like, Dad, we are going. I want to see
because your boyfriend
Darius
plays
Slay.
for the Eagles?
Yeah. That's pretty much why. But anyway, let's start with away to the Vikings this week. What are you guys thinking? Jeff, let's start with you.
Well, these next couple games, little intimidating. All right, listen, the Lions should have already gotten the win. I had them winning against the Bears. That was your win. That you could be 2-2. You should win against the dang Bears. And if Justin Tucker doesn't hit the field goal, you're 2-2.
Can I cut you off for a second? Why do Lions fans talk like that about Bears fans? Why? I don't get it. Wait. Hear me out. We should have beat. It's the Bears. Last I checked, the Bears have won 6 of the last 7 games against the Lions.
They didn't have Justin Fields, a guy who has his second career start. That's my point.
Okay, fair.
Like,
to
you
that
should win in that
extent,
situation.
To label the Bears as the Bears,
they're better. They're better.
It's a bit ridiculous considering you're the Lions.
I get your point. I get your point. But the next 4 games, listen, they go away to the Vikings, or they got the Vikings, not go away, and then they got the Bengals and the Rams, and then the Eagles, which. Maybe I have them against the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has looked very good, so that might not even happen. I have them losing to the Vikings. It's tough, but, man, they've been playing good. They're probably the best 1-3 team. We talk about this. The fact that they've only won 1 game, and every game the Vikings have played, it's been very close. They could have went either way. You saw the Cardinals game, the missed field goal going back to, they lost to the Browns, and Baker looked absolutely awful. Like, the Kirk Cousins had a chance to win that game as well. And then now you got going to the Bengals, who the Bengals have looked absolutely just rejuvenated with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Usman Zada just catching all these guys out here just playing well. They don't have an offensive line, but nonetheless, defense is comparable. It's decent. Joey Burrow has been playing good, and they got weapons. So that's another team you have to be aware of. And we're gonna be home against the Bengals, so maybe that's a good game. Maybe that's a game they could steal. But listen, when you go to LA on the 24th, I know there's gonna be a lot of Lions fans going over there, checking out SoFi Stadium, seeing Matthew Stafford. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly. As much as I'm a Lions fan, you want to go in there, you want to fight. Matthew Stafford's going to be motivated. It reminds me of, when LeBron James left to go to Miami and he played Cleveland again. It's the similar. Now they had more hatred towards LeBron at that moment, but it's the feeling of going. Now he went back to Cleveland. There was times where they had to go to Miami, but similar to this, you're going to LA. You're going to Stafford's, his home court essentially. So, as much as I would love to see Stafford come to Ford Field, that's the sad truth. You're probably going to lose that game. And then the Eagles game. Listen, I think they're at? No, they're home. They got the Eagles at home, so maybe that is a dub in the future. But I could see them going easily over the next 4 games, 1-3, if that, and that'll put them at 1-7, I believe, on the year. So it is what it is. You want the Lions to. We talked about this earlier. They were supposed to go 0-3. Not supposed to, but we expected them to go 0-3. They're versing 3 tough teams, 3 playoff teams. now looking back on it thus far, I mean, they're 0-4. You're going to, welcoming the Vikings. You're going to the Vikings. Yeah, you're going away to the Vikings, which is even worse to a team that's highly motivated to get a W. Could be 0-5 very well. Bengals, I want to say 1-5 at that point. I want to say it, but the Rams is a loss, and the Eagles might be a loss, depending on what happens in the Bengals and Eagles game. So very well could be 1-7 or 1-8. If not 0-8, 0-9, it's a tough stretch of games. The Lions are going to be for sure in the top 3, top 4 picks in the 2022 NFL draft. It's just the sad truth. The roster already didn't have a lot of talent, and now you're losing guys with injury. Frank Ragnow, Romeo Okwara, Jeff Okudah, Iffy. I mean, tons of guys are out. And it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. And this offensive line is shattered, something that we said was a strength of the team. Penei Sewell's got to get over some bumps and bruises, but my God, as a Lions fan, you should not be excited for the next 4 games. That's for absolutely sure, because you want to see them fight. But in terms of getting a win or a loss, I felt comfortable against the Bears. The next 4, I don't feel the same, Adam. I just don't feel the same. I don't know. I mean, you can maybe argue. I know you're going to say they're going to lose against the Vikings, but you think they can even? They got the Bengals at home, and then they have the Eagles at home, and then obviously they go away to the Rams. Do you think there's a realistic shot the Lions can steal either the Bengals or the Eagles game?
Well, let's look at the first 4 games.
Okay.
All right. We expected them to lose 3 of the 4, right? If you're a general fan. They walk away 0-4. Okay. Now you look at the next 4. Away to Minnesota. Minnesota are probably the best 1-3 football team out there. So that's going to be a difficult game. They're 7.5-point favorites already. You go home to the Bengals. Bengals are 3-1. And again, I said this on Thursday night. You can't lose to the Jaguars and take yourself seriously. If you're the Bengals, I'm going to have a similar narrative that week against the Lions, even though it's a road game. You got to be able to beat the Lions that week. I think it's a trap game for Cincinnati, because if the Lions don't win against Minnesota, they're walking in 0-5 at home. A lot of pressure is going to be on for them to win. They're going to come out fighting, so it's going to be a tricky game for Cincinnati. And then you go away to everybody's Super Bowl of the year against Los Angeles. Honestly, I'm going to save my thoughts for that game when that week comes. I don't plan on entertaining a discussion about it. I'm not going to give away my feelings or my thoughts on that game at all right now. And then you move on home against Philly, who are a beatable football team, but they put up a ton of points. So are you going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Philly offensively? I'm not sure. These next 4 games are really tricky. It's going to come down to the wire. If we gave an 0-4 start to now the next 4, I see them 1-7 best case scenario.
And they're losing players, too.
I would be surprised by 2-6, but also maybe I wouldn't. The home games against Philly and Cincinnati are winnable. Mm-hmm. In theory, they're winnable. Any game is winnable, but still, like my point is, this team isn't going to lose all 17 games, or at least I don't believe so. I may be rooting for it subconsciously, but that's just a different thing. It's not my actual thoughts on this. Like, they have a few games to win this year. Whether it's Cincinnati or Philly, I think one of those has to happen. 0-8, I did say it wouldn't surprise me going into the season if they started 1-9, 1-10, but
it's not real till it's real.
Jeez, yeah, it's not real till it's real, Jeff. I'm not sure what to say on that. That's a tough one.
Yeah, 0-8. I mean, you could say that the problem is, obviously, we talk about this. The win-loss record isn't important, at least year 1, because it's more of an evaluation process. And considering they've lost a lot of key players thus far, it's not going to help Dan Campbell's case of trying to even salvage 4 to 6 wins at this point. It's just not happening. So if they go 0-8 at that point, it's more so, what are we improving on? Did the last 3 games of the 0-8, it was a 1-score game? Was it closer? Was there winnable moments that you didn't go for it on 4th down and completely, put the Lions out of position to win the game? That's the question we want to have is the coaching decisions, are they getting better? Are players getting better? That's what you want to look for. And these last 4 games haven't seen really much, I'm going to be honest with you. The Ravens, you did see a lot, actually. You did see plentiful. But you've seen a lot of inconsistencies, and you're hoping over the next 4 games those inconsistencies get corrected. I mean, that's the goal.
What makes Baltimore so great? Their ability to run the ball, correct? Aren't they out 3 backs already?
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of already hurt, but they're still somehow 3-1. They're not making excuses. Didn't that Baltimore Ravens team have an opportunity to go up 24, 30, 31-0? if Marquise Brown could just hold on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they left points. Let's not, like, the Lions played a good second half, but they've also played 3 awful halves this year. Awful.
Right.
First half against Chicago, second half against Green Bay, and first half against Baltimore. And then, honestly, I could even make the argument that they played an awful second and first half against San Francisco. It just took up until the 2-minute warning against prevent defense for them to score 16 points. Excuse me. I'll give them credit, guys. There you go. Happy? My goodness. Look, Kennedy, we got 4 games upcoming. Of the 4, what do you think 1 is the most winnable, and 2, which one you are dreading? I think I can
well,
answer
I'm
the one you're not
dreading
looking forward
going
to.
away to the Rams. But it's like I am dreading it for the Lions, but I'm also just I like watching Stafford play. So either way, it's going to be an enjoyable game for me personally. I know some people are going to absolutely hate that answer, but it's going to be god-awful for the Lions, and it's going to be fun to see Stafford out there. I don't know. I wish I could go in person to that game. If you guys didn't know, we're doing like giveaway on our social medias, so you should go check that out. Follow us at Woodward Sports, and you can enter to win a trip to LA, and that's pretty awesome to go see that game. So anyway,
I wonder what the turnout will be for that game, fan base wise. Is it going to be 50-50 Rams Lions? How well are the Lions fans going to travel? I'm actually very curious, because we've seen it all year in Los Angeles. Like there's no home field advantage outside of the game against, I want to say, Chicago. It really sounded like a Rams home environment, but I don't recall a game where it's like, hey, it's so obvious we're playing away here.
Right. It's going to be interesting because I know a couple people that are going to the game, and they've said on social media, people find out you're going to the game, and they're like, oh, come to this hotel. It's where all the other Lions fans are staying. Like, there's a lot of people going collectively and staying at all these hotels. And
all I know is I can't wait for week 5, 6, 7 against Los Angeles. Cooper Kupp is a must start that day. Must start on fantasy. You want to talk about must starts? Cooper Kupp.
He's your MVP.
Is a must start. Look, he was the MVP going into Sunday because somebody has to give the guy credit for what he's doing. Coming off an ACL injury.
That's impressive.
Dominating the league at his position. Leads it in receiving yards. I mean, it's unstoppable right now. And the Cardinals showed, hey.
And to your point, when he doesn't get going, you
look
saw
at the
what
Rams
happened.
offense.
So that is the definition of most valuable player.
I mean, I wanted to make sure when we were at Hall Financial last week that I gave Cooper Kupp the credit and love he deserves, because nobody's going to award a wide receiver an MVP. If Randy Moss didn't win it, there's no
nobody's
chance.
Gonna win
no,
it,
nobody's going to win it. If Calvin didn't win it, nobody's winning it. For breaking records that year, he wasn't even considered for that award. So it's tough. It's really tough to say, but the next 4 games get tough. We got to head to break, but when we get back, we got to talk about Detroit's very own Jared Goff and the experiment. How long should we continue with this Jared Goff experiment? I believe it's a 2-year commitment. Bridge quarterback, goodbye. I'm curious for what you guys think.
All right, so all that coming up next. But before we go, we need to hear about our new friends over at Underdog Fantasy.
All right, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is underway. We're 4 weeks in now, and you can still draft a new fantasy team each week on Underdog Fantasy to win cash prizes. Sign up today using the code WSN on your first deposit, and you'll receive a $10 site credit to use as you please. So just visit UnderdogFantasy.com, visit their App Store or the Google Play Store, and sign up using code WSN. Again, they'll give you $10 on the house. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WSN.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, so like we said, we're going to discuss how long this Jared Goff experiment will last. Adam, you've already said 2 years. He's a bridge. Get him out. So let's start with you, Jeff, and then we can have some discussion. What are you thinking?
Well, the mutual consensus should be you keep Jared Goff this year, obviously. You go into the draft, you address mostly defense because that's what the area that most needs to improve, that's lacking the most talent. Maybe take a wide receiver late first. We have 2 first-round picks or second round, whatever, excuse me, whatever they want to do. And then that following year, you have a bunch of rookies, second-year players on defense. You have Jared Goff behind center, an offensive line that hopefully is healthy by then. And you could try, and like Adam and me both agree, you go out there, you try and win 6 to 8 games maybe, if that, to try and improve from the year prior. And I think that draft, it's really up to Brad Holmes. Whenever they find a guy they like. It could be this year. I doubt it. I don't like a lot of the quarterbacks coming out of this year. There are some guys that are talented, but worthy of a top 5 pick. I don't think so. Maybe later in the round if they feel comfortable, but nonetheless, you go defense next year. You find a guy that you like in the 2023 NFL draft, and you take him. We're probably going to be somewhere in top 10 next year. But the real question is, Adam, is that's what I'm curious about is if you want to address the quarterback issue. And this year, we're going to be god-awful. 0-8 thus far. Or we're predicting 0-8. By the end, it could be 1-7, 2-6. But if they finish this year a horrid record, they go into the draft with a top 2, top maybe 3 pick. You're in a tough position because you don't want to take a quarterback, but the year after, you're hoping your win totals jump. And somehow you can fly into that. You can kind of stay in the top 10 to top 15. And if you need to trade for a quarterback, you can maybe do something like San Francisco, trade into that top 3. But the real question is, what does Brad Holmes want to do? I think Jared Goff, after 2 years, you get rid of him. You don't want to re-up him for a new contract. He hasn't put anything on a tape that says you should, even dating back to the Rams. They even regretted paying him. So what is the Lions going to do, essentially? You wait 2 years, you get rid of Jared Goff, you bring in your guy. Either you can start Jared Goff, let the guy sit for a year, or you just let him start, throw him out into the fire. But either way, I think the timetable on Jared Goff is 2 years. You don't re-up him, and you try and find your quarterback, probably not this year, but next year in the draft, depending on if you have to trade up or if he falls to you. But regardless, you got 2 years on the Jared Goff window because re-upping him doesn't make any sense, especially paying him $30+ million for a guy who's so limited, who can lose you games, essentially. So, yeah, 2 years, I'll give it.
Yeah, he's a bridge quarterback. That's it. And to your point, the moment Brad Holmes falls in love with a quarterback, he should draft him, whether that's number 3 overall, 5, in the second round, third round, I don't care. When Brad Holmes is confident in a quarterback, he should take him. It's that simple. And when he does, either way, Jared Goff will be gone in 2 years. You are not re-signing him on a $30 million contract for that play. You're not paying him over $30 million to not be able to convert on 4th and short situations. It's just, there's no reality other than your own crazy mind if you actually believe Jared Goff is going to be here for more than 2 years. Yeah. He's not. He just isn't. And you really need to learn to accept that. The team is 7, 8, 9 players away in total. They need a new quarterback. They need to address their skill position, and they really need a lot of help on defense, especially in the secondary. So a lot of work to do ahead for the Detroit Lions. But in Jared Goff's case, he's fighting for his next contract. He's fighting for a backup position somewhere else, or he'll be a fringe starter on a really bad team. Could be Houston. We don't know where Jared Goff's future is. All I do know is that it won't be in Detroit. He is not a fit here. He won't be the quarterback moving forward. I don't care what Brad Holmes says in front of the media. This guy, you are not re-signing him to Dak Prescott money.
No.
For that play. You're not. Now, do they franchise him after 2 years? Maybe, if they haven't gotten their quarterback or their quarterback isn't ready. I'm not sure. I can't think that far ahead. But I do know he's not the guy long term. I do know that. And I don't think you can make an argument why he should be. His first 3 years with Sean McVay were some of the best football, and not only he's played, but he was considered one of, if not one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. He was going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. He was slinging the ball all over the field. And what happened to 3 years after, I don't understand. He just completely regressed. Lost confidence, couldn't make the throws he typically could make. Yep. He has regressed as a quarterback. And there's a reason why the team gave up 2 first-round picks and him to get rid of him. They saw it. They moved on. It's that simple. And you know what the Lions are going to do? They're going to move on, and it's that simple. He'll be here for 2 years, and then he goes. And that's your bridge quarterback. And you have 2 years to figure out who the next quarterback is in Detroit, and you have time to build your defense, which needs a ton of help, and you need skill position players.
I wouldn't even be upset if in 2 years Jared Goff goes somewhere else, signs a deal, whatever the case may be. We try to franchise tag him. He ends up signing a deal with another team. If the Lions have all their positions, at least on defense, skill positions, pretty much set, they just don't have a quarterback, I'm okay with it, because you can plug and play. You can find a quarterback, at least in the draft, to put on a stacked team already. You just want to make sure everything around, because you see what Jared Goff looks like when nothing's around him, essentially. He has a run game, he has TJ, doesn't really have much else. It's going to affect any quarterback you have, no matter if it's a rookie or it's a 6-7 year pro in Jared Goff. Does not matter. So what the Lions need to do is, in the next 2 years, you take Jared Goff, you figure out, do we want to draft a quarterback, like Adam said, if Brad Holmes likes, or do you let him you franchise him, or you let him walk away? But nonetheless, we can mutually agree there's a lot more holes on this team to address right now, at least, than worrying about a quarterback, especially next year's draft, because I don't think there's any quarterback that really stands out to me.
I don't mind taking a project quarterback in the third round, fourth round, if you just want to see if you have something there. You never know.
Probably better than David Blau.
It's never a bad option. I mean, you see what the Patriots did. They were drafting quarterbacks behind Tom Brady for the longest time in the third, fourth round, and then they struck gold. They found the guy in Jimmy G, and they granted they didn't get enough value for him, in my opinion. You only got a second-round pick, but still, I mean, it's not a bad investment to always be drafting quarterbacks. You never know when you have that guy until you have him.
100%.
So I don't see it as a bad thing. I got to say, Jared Goff, so far, has played average.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to say he's played well, you're lying to yourself. He hasn't played well. He's been average at best. There is no future for you here in Detroit, Jared Goff. And that's not only because of Jared Goff. You have to look at the team's situation. They are 7 to 8 players away on defense. Jeff Okudah looks like he's a bust. The guy who has taken 48 picks after him is already looking like an all-pro secondary player, Trayvon Diggs. And your number 3 overall pick is yet to play more than 10 games. That's great. That's very promising. And when he has played, he's gotten beaten and burned. It's not great. So you need more secondary help. You need edge rush. Where's this defensive line, this interior line unit? Where's the progression? I haven't seen that yet. No wide receivers. Khalif Raymond had a great game. 3 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns. That's great. Everybody has a good game. Amon-Ra finally showed up. 6 catches for 70 yards, because everybody was praising him since preseason when he would go out and have 3 catches for 10 yards, 4 catches for 12 yards, 3 catches for 11 yards. That's what we're praising people for? What are we doing? Finally, St. Brown had a good game. Jamal Williams looks really good. Why DeAndre Swift is being limited, I'm not sure. Is he injured? I'm not sure. Reports are he's not injured. They are just not using him enough. And that's an Anthony Lynn problem. And he really needs to sort that out. Because DeAndre Swift is a dynamic back. Make no mistake about it. And if you want to play hindsight, players taken after DeAndre Swift at his position: Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibson.
I love Jonathan Taylor, man.
So you gotta make do. You gotta make the most out of. You gotta get the most out of him. You got to.
Agreed.
And with Jared Goff, again, it's unlucky for him because he's in a bad situation. He's not gonna succeed here. It's impossible to succeed here this year. And maybe next year he can win 6, 7, 8 games. Maybe if they get the roster enough pieces, sure. But I don't need to win 6, 7, 8 games. I need an elite, dynamic franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 14 years that I can win 3, 4, 5 divisions with, win multiple playoff games, and maybe make a push for the NFC Championship game, and who knows, maybe even reach a Super Bowl. That's how you gotta think and build your franchise. Not, Dan, can you change the culture? Because it's really negative. Matt treated people really bad here. Could you come in and treat everybody really well? That doesn't win football games. Talent wins football games. Proper head coaching wins football games. Stable front offices win football games. And that's how you win long term. And that's how you change the same old Lions narrative. You win for 6, 8, 10 years. You win over a substantial amount of time. Not just go 11-5 one year, then you're a dumpster fire after that. That doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. So Jared Goff, I'll see you later in 2 years. Where you go, I don't know, but I wish you nothing but the best. But DeAndre Swift has got to get more touches. And to comment on Wasim's message in the chat, Swift is just as if not more talented than Taylor and Gibson. The Lions are just not using him enough. I do agree. You gotta get him to reach his max potential.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste it. I like the backfield dynamic duo you have right now, but don't forget about Swift. Keep him engaged. Don't just give him 2 carries and expect him to be a check down back for the rest of the game. I don't like that. I don't like it. Kennedy?
I don't like Jared Goff. I really wanted to, because he seems like a nice guy, but wow.
We're not in this business to be nice and make friends. We're in this business to win.
I think I saw a clip from our boy Miz yesterday saying he's ready for Blau to come in. Did I hear that? Did you guys see that?
I love Maz to death, but let's just chill out. I don't unless Maz wants us to have the number 1 pick overall. Then you know what? I support Maz. But
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that clip because I'm pretty sure that's what Maz is talking about. But anyway, we gotta hit break. But when we come when we come back, I'm having an aneurysm.
You okay there, buddy?
No.
To be fair to Kennedy, she's dealing with mouth aches. She did get her wisdom teeth pulled, so it's very unfortunate. She's being a trooper and helping us out today.
Yeah, you can see this nice little bruise right on my side of my face. But anyway, Jeff and Adam are going to give us their top 10 NFL power rankings when we come back, so stick around for that. But before we go, we need to hear about our friends over at Levels.
All right, guys. Levels Dispensary, the premier cannabis dispensary in the area. Visit their location in Centerline. Use code WSN or mention Woodward Sports when you're in store for an additional 10% off. From T Grizzlies Gas to D-Max Special Strain and edibles are all on sale now. And a friendly reminder, do download the Enjoy Levels app, whether it's in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. We'll see you after the break.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Everyone, you're tuning into the Woodward Sports Network. This is the Morning Woodward Show. You guys, Adam wants to flex on all of us really fast, but he also is crying in the club. So Adam, please tell us about your ticket here.
All right, can you put this up on the screen, Alex? So I made a 13 leg pick'em game. I took all the NFL games. On the left side, you see I took the Bears money line. I took the under in the Browns-Vikings. I took the the over between the Panthers and the Cowboys. The Chiefs to win. The Washington football team to win. The Jets on the upset. The over between the Saints and the Giants, which went to overtime. The Indianapolis Colts to win as an underdog. God damn it, Adam, you took the Rams to cover. The Seattle Seahawks to win. The Ravens to win. The Packers to cover. And the Chargers to cover, which they did. They all freaking hit! Except, God damn it, Matthew!
Matthew.
Come on, man.
How much is that?
I swear to God, I don't even remember placing the bet on the Rams game. I haven't bet on any Rams game outside of Week 1 against Chicago in the spread. I try to avoid them because, especially against the Cardinals, they were both undefeated. It was a difficult game to call. I should have taken the over. I'm an absolute idiot. I don't know. I don't even remember submitting the freaking -4 spread point submission. I don't. I am so angry. 12 out of 13.
So what would have happened? What's your winnings right
the
there?
The payout would have been 17K. A lot.
Call the betting hotline.
God.
Listen, Adam.
If you don't, you're so delirious when you're betting that you
I don't
even
remember placing the bet on the Rams, though.
Problem.
I made a conscious...
So you bet the under.
I made a conscious... No, I bet the Rams to cover. They didn't. They were favorites.
Gotcha.
They got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
Man, guys, I literally made the conscious decision. I make all my bets on Thursday and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I told myself, I am not betting on the Rams-Cardinals game. I'm staying away from it. It's too much. The only way I could bet it is either the over or the under. And I don't know why I took the freaking spread with the Rams. I should have taken Cardinals with the points. Oh my God, I would have bought all of you guys. Rams, man, look at this ticket. It's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. It is fun though. I am happy with my picks. I am happy.
Hey,
I mean,
you
12
should
out of
be.
13.
12 out of 13.
Yep.
I mean, if one thing, let's say something's changed in that game. Adam's got on a Gucci coat today.
No, I'm not into material stuff. I would have taken you all out for a nice lunch though, for sure, or a dinner.
See,
one of the two.
dang it! I wish it would have hit. We could have went to tomatoes.
Tomatoes. All right, Kennedy. We gotta. I don't want to talk about my misery. Let's talk about. I hate
Sorry,
you.
I threw you
Let's talk about the NFL. Week 4 is done. We're moving into week 5. We do this every Tuesday. Jeff and I give our NFL power rankings, top 10 teams in the NFL. Can we do that?
Yes, please. After week 4, let's do it. Top 10. Who's at number 10, Jeff?
Listen, number 10 for me. They moved down in just the one loss, but they've looked, pretty good thus far. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders at 10 because there's 9 teams in front of them that I could argue would beat this team and has played pretty good football. Nonetheless, the Las Vegas Raiders deserve to be in everyone's top 10, if not top, 8 or 7. I wouldn't be mad wherever you have them, but for me personally in my list, they have them at 10.
All right, I got the Dallas Cowboys, number 10. The defense, look, I can make fun of the Cowboys as much as I want. That defense has turned it around. It's early, 3-1. They look good, pole position to win the NFC East, but right now, they got to be a top 10 team on my board. Number 9, Jeff.
Hold on, real quick. I'm going to correct this. I actually have the Ravens are 10 for me. The Las Vegas Raiders are 9. So I swap them. I keep forgetting that was a misread. The Las Vegas Raiders they beat Baltimore earlier in the season. So they're 9. I have Baltimore Ravens at 10. So Las Vegas Raiders are the 9th team in the NFL for me through week 4.
See, I have the Raiders out of my top 10. So I have the Cowboys in at 10. I'm sure they're not in your top 10 if they're not there. They are?
Yeah,
they're higher. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
I like Dallas.
So I got to find the team that you don't have in here. It's actually mind-boggling then because I have the Cowboys at 10. Yep. Number 9, I've got the Ravens. They are 3-1. They look really good. Their injury problems have not slowed them down. They went out and beat a good Denver Broncos football team on the road. Big win. They look good. Lamar Jackson playing very well. Got to give him credit. I like the Ravens at number 9. Number 8, Jeff.
Number 8 is Green Bay Packers.
You have the Cowboys over the...
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yes. Have you seen... Listen, defensively, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, I like the Cowboys' defense. I mean, you say what you want. I know you like Stokes. You like Eric Stokes. You're a big fan of him. But I like what I've seen out of at least the Dallas Cowboys. They've beaten pretty good teams. They took down the Chargers, your top 5 team. They've almost took down the Super Bowl champs. They just walked in and smoked a Panthers team, which haven't played good opponents, but nonetheless, we'll get there. All right, number 8, Green Bay Packers. They just coming off a win. You take it with what you want. It's against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but offensively, they're among the top in the league for sure. And Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, them two together, they deserve to be in everyone's top 8 in mine. Well, where do you have the Packers?
We'll get to that later. Number 8 on my list, the Kansas City Chiefs. Good bounce back win. They're sitting at 2-2 right now. I could put them at 7 or 6 if I wanted to, but right now I'll just keep them at 8. I moved them out of my top 10 last week. They were 1-2. Honestly, I'm not going to consider a 1-2 team top 10 in my power rankings. I don't. They've got to earn their way back in, and I'm sure if they win next week and the week after, they'll move up into the top 6, top 5. They're just that good of a football team. It's really not a knock on them. It's just other teams are performing better. So I've got the Chiefs at 8. I've got the Cleveland Browns at number 7. Cleveland Browns for me, 3-1, another good football team. Good win against Minnesota. Minnesota are no slouch. They're a good team. The Browns are playing fundamental football. They're running the ball well, playing solid defense. They're missing Jarvis Landry, though. That's why I moved them back a spot this week. They're really missing Jarvis Landry. OBJ is still getting his legs under him. They've got a long way to go. It's a long season. They will progress on offense as the season goes on, but they do need to show that they can throw the football better than they have so far to start the season. Jeff, you're number 17.
Number 7, it's going to be... Listen, we just got done with the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs. They're in my top 10.
The Cowboys are better than the Chiefs?
No, actually, I'm changing. I'm gonna make a change.
On,
I'm swapping. I had the Ravens were 10 for me, and then now I have the Chiefs at I'll replace them with the Cowboys spot. You made me think the Green Bay Packers and Cowboys right around the same ranking. They're both like right around that top 10 area, but I didn't have the Chiefs in my top 10. I completely forgot about the Chiefs. They just won, and everyone had them outside their top 10, and I'm like, wow. I had them in my top 10 every single week. They deserve to be there. They're 6 or 7 for me, so they're hanging in there. They'll bounce back.
Who's your number 6 team?
Below them, we'll go. I got the Los Angeles Chargers.
Number 6 Chargers.
Yes, they're ahead of the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs. Herbert looks good, and they're my number.
I've got the Packers at 6. Packers deserve to be 6 on this list right now. They're playing great football. 3 straight wins. They've looked really good, impressive in all 3. I'm really high right now on the Green Bay Packers. They're playing well. Defense looks good. Devontae Adams is a problem. Aaron Jones starting to get his legs under him. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. What more can I say? And, of course, they have Matt LaFleur. It's also a great thing to have. So just to recap my top 10 so far, Cowboys at 10, Ravens at 9, Chiefs at 8, Browns at 7, Packers at 6. Jeff, your top 10 up to 6.
I got 10 Baltimore Ravens, 9 Las Vegas Raiders, 8 Green Bay Packers, 7 Chiefs, and 6 the Chargers.
All right, number 5 on your list. Who are your
is
top
the Cleveland
5 teams?
Browns. Cleveland Browns. I think they just edge. You could say now Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. I completely agree with you. I just think schematically and the team around Baker gives him that edge thus far. They just took down a very tough Minnesota team. They could have won 21-7 if it wasn't for a horrid open pass to Odell Beckham that Baker completely whiffed in the end zone. But other than that, the Browns thus far, other than the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, which they were up in the game, I got them at 5 on my list.
Round out your top 5. Go ahead.
So number 4, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills. 2, the Rams. And number 1, the Cardinals.
Cardinals are your number 1 team in football right now.
They are undefeated. Okay. They beat.
I've got the Chargers at 5. They should be ahead of the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Packers. I'm taking Herbert over Baker in that matchup. I'm taking the Chargers defense over the Browns. It's for me, Chargers are a top 5 team. I had them 2 weeks ago. They deserve to be there. I'm glad they're back. They're looking good. The Rams, number 4. I don't want to say a bad loss to a very impressive Arizona Cardinal team. I mean, on your list, they're number 1. On mine, they're 3. But regardless, it's a tough division. You're going to lose some games.
Go on, actually. I'll let you finish.
So I've got the Cardinals at 3. Cardinals at 3. They're undefeated. But again, I am going to trust my eye test. And my eye test so far, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills have been more impressive considering what they've had to deal with than the Cardinals. The Cardinals, again, they should have 2 losses.
Well,
they really could have easily lost 2 games. And again, they're 4-0. And they just had a very good win against the Rams, and I will give them credit for that. But I want to see a little more from the Cardinals. But the Bucs just
snuck out a win after a missed field goal. Like if they make that field goal, they lose.
They snuck out a win against a brilliant defensive head coach
and a rookie quarterback
without their secondary. They had no secondary. They had no edge rush. Their running backs have been awful all season. And let's remind you, Brady's actual favorite weapon is out for the next few weeks. So yeah, they snuck out a win, but. They were
team.
No. I'm not entertaining that. Bucks at number 2, and then the number 1 team in football right now is a team that has posted 2 shutouts and has beaten those 2 teams by a combined over 70 points in the last 2 weeks. It's got to be the Buffalo Bills, number 1 team in the NFL right now. They're playing the best football, the most complete football. Again, you can look at the record. The Cardinals should be number 1. I just disagree completely. The Cardinals shouldn't be number 1 in the NFL. I've got the Buffalo Bills. For me, it's not even a question.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't. Why the Cardinals at 1? Why the Cardinals at 1?
Because thus far they've earned it. I mean, they're undefeated. They just took down our number 1 team in the power rankings, and that's just how it is. That's what happens. You beat a team that's number 1 in the NFL. We had the LA Rams until they lost to the Cardinals as the best team.
Yeah, and I moved the Rams from last week from 1 to 4.
But this is the one I disagree with. Why do you have the Bucs over the Rams after 1 loss, and the Bucs just sneak by a rookie quarterback? How does that move them above the Rams?
Okay, well, let's look back to last week. The Rams were number 1.
Yeah.
I had the Bills number 2, the Bucs number 3.
Right.
The Rams lost really bad against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I had to move up. I had no choice. I had them at 7. They have to move up into the top 3.
But the Buccaneers lost really bad to the Rams. So they
didn't. Again, sure, on head-to-head, if you want to swap the 2, that's fine. But no, I still think the Bucs are a dangerous team. I still think they're the second best team in football.
I had them in the Super Bowl, so
maybe
I'm not disagreeing.
Right now, but this team has time to get healthy.
Yeah.
They are 3-1, and they're not healthy. I mean, You got to give credit somehow for that. So, Kennedy, it's been a great show. Thank you so much this morning.
Guys.
Thanks for trooping it out. I know you're in a lot of pain. So
I am, but it's okay. It's worth it. All right, you guys, we got to get out of here. But before we do, I need to tell you where you can post game and during game the Lions game. Wow, lots of games. Join Woodward Sports Live for the Lions post game with Stick at the 2-minute warning. Watch and party with Stick for every Lions game at Brass Rail. That is on Adams and Woodward downtown. We start live streaming right after the 2-minute warning of every Lions game. There will be DJs, drinks, and a Woodward VIP section with food and more. So make sure you stop by for every Lions game. The official place for Lions games is at the Brass Rail. Make sure you go hang out with Stick. All right, you guys, have a good day. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.